On this episode of Game Shack, Alice in Wonderland Real World Pinball is about to go live on Kickstarter. I'm going to talk about some of the video we have, the new measurements we have for the dimensions. I'm going to talk about the pricing, whether or not I'm going to jump in on this, how it compares to something like the 4KP, all that and more coming up next. Hey everybody, welcome on into the Game Shack. I'm your host, JDV for Evil Genius Entertainment. As always, you guys are the primary sponsors of this channel, so if you can give me a thumbs up on the way out the door, we'll make sure you get more home arcade style content. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell if you have. All right, so as I record this, it's the day before they go live on Kickstarter for the Alice in Wonderland pinball game from Wonderland Amusements. Now, anyone who watches this channel knows I've been very enthusiastically following the progress of this product because there is nothing else like it on the market. Sort of like the 4KP stands alone on the market for mass-produced virtual pinball, there are no machines that are at $1,000 or less for mass-produced real-world pinball. In fact, there's none at $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000. or $5,000. Of course, you can buy used pinballs for less than that, but those are still going to start out at $1,000, and that's going to be a 40 to 50-year-old machine that will need maintenance from somebody with expertise you almost certainly don't have. So yeah, this thing stands alone in the market if it works. Now, what we got to see now is a little bit of footage, more footage from the game, which in my opinion looks fantastic. Even though this is a sort of an IP that's open to anybody, Alice in Wonderland, I think they have done a great job in terms of the artwork on the side, the back box. I think the playfield looks absolutely amazing. Those mushroom caps, the ramp with the cards. I thought the design looked really good before they were finished with it, and now it looks borderline spectacular. Of course, we don't know how the game will play yet because nobody's had a chance to play it yet other than people from the company. And we don't know what the code is or how the music sounds. So code, in case you wonder when they talk about that, is just sort of the rules list for the game. Like, how do you get multi-ball? What you can get in this game, you can get a multi-ball mode in this game. How do you get that? Are there multiple multi-ball modes? Are there wizard modes? How many of them are there? And that matters because when you have a single pin in your collection, and for most of us, this would be the only pinball game that we have that's real, you want as many different things, many different kind of side missions, so to speak, on the game as possible, because that will give your game legs and keep interest in it even long after you've perfected all the shots in the game. Having the different modes will breathe more life or give you more challenges as you continue to get better at the game. So hopefully they are really fleshing that out to give us several different kind of modes, each one increasingly difficult, so that as you play the game, there's more stuff for you to do beyond just hitting the ball, whipping up the spinner, and things like that. So it's encouraging that there's at least going to be some kind of modes, but as of now, we won't know what those modes are until sometime in April. Same thing with the music. We won't know how the music sounds and how it interacts with the game until we see the final version, which they say is going to be in April. One other thing about that, if you look at the front of the machine, clearly they have a couple of buttons and a D input pad. I think that's a good thing. I'd rather have that than a real working coin door, because with that, they're going to be able to presumably let you tune in the game. So to turn up the music, down the music, maybe pick difficulty modes, maybe change the sound effects and things like that. So it's always good to see that sort of user interface. This game is going to have Wi-Fi, so theoretically you will be able to get updates to the code and things like that, just like you can on a Stern game. So that's good news. In terms of beyond the looks, just the actual size and shape, it's going to be almost exactly the same size and shape as a 4KP or an HDL. All right, according to Wonderland, their pinball game is 35.5 inches tall, and if you measure the 4KP, it is 35 inches tall. So again, really close in terms of height, and I don't even think I have the front feet all the way up. So again, I'm going to call that almost exactly the same height as a 4KP. It's 64.5 inches tall in the back, and a 4KP is 65 inches tall. So again, very similar in terms of the size. All right, again, talking about the back box. The back box on a 4KP is about 23 1/4. Yeah, that's 23 1/4 there by 23 1/4. So the back box in the Alice in Wonderland game is going to be about 21 1/4. So we're talking about just from there to there, very similar size. So, but a little smaller. So the back box is actually going to be about 2 inches bigger on a 4KP than the Alice in Wonderland game. Again, I think that's not too bad. So again, these machines are going to be able to sit next to each other very comfortably and not look weird. It will fit perfectly into a home arcade, you know, your home bar, your rec room, something like that. Size-wise, it's almost going to be identical to what you're already used to, with one important exception, and that's the playfield. So there you see it's about a 27 inch from top to bottom. So if this is accurate, we're talking about a playfield that is longer than the entire cabinet is on the 4KP. So, you know, we're talking about more than a yard. So it's 10 inches longer playfield, even though it has the same basic cab shape. So that's the interesting thing, right? Is that you're getting a 10-inch bigger from top to bottom playfield, one that's only about 5 inches shorter than a normal pinball game. So you're actually getting a playfield that is very close in size to a real pinball game. That's pretty sweet. In terms of a normal pinball playfield width, it's 21 inches, at least the glass is. On this, you're talking about an 18-inch wide playfield. So that's pretty good too. And if you actually measure a 4KP's playfield, it's like 15 inches. So you're gaining 10 inches from top to bottom and 3 inches side to side. So this is kind of in the middle of a real world pinball game and the 4KP. It sits somewhere in the middle in terms of its playfield. So that could be very interesting. Now, one other thing I want to show you. So this is a real normal size pinball. And this is a pinball from a Jakks Pacific game. Now the pinball we're going to get from Wonderland Amusements is going to be quite a bit bigger than this ball here. It's going to be about twice the size of this and 80% of that. And you can still have a lot of fun with a ball this size on tabletop type pinball games like the Electronic Arcade Pro game, right? So the ball size is not as small as I thought it was going to be. It's not a full-size ball, but neither is it this marble-size ball. We're talking about a fairly large pinball. We're talking about a fairly large pinball field, something that is truly 80% of a real-world pinball game, and something that is going to probably feel more like a real-world pinball game than something like the 4KP, just in terms of the size of its playfield, if not the ball physics itself. So they're telling us that we will have the final code and we'll have the final everything in terms of music, and the design and layout will be finalized in April. Once that happens, it goes to the factory for manufacture and to box up. It then ships, and they expect to actually deliver into people who buy this game now in the Kickstarter sometime in the 4th quarter, which means October, November, December. December probably being a more realistic thing. But if they could deliver these before Christmas, gee, wouldn't that make an insane Christmas present for you, your family, or for some other pinhead in your life, if they can actually bring this to market. The one thing we don't know yet is shipping. And with tariffs and everything, that could be a variable that goes up or down depending on when you place your order. A lot of people are thinking it's going to be at least $100, if not $200. Again, if it is $200 and you jump in at the $7.99, you are technically getting it for less than $1,000. If you're getting it after that initial $100, it's going to be $849. So again, right around $1,000. And what it will go for retail after Kickstarter is probably going to be that $9.99 plus shipping. So basically, you know, you're going to save that couple $100. That shipping is going to cost. We'll know, of course, more tomorrow. Am I going to get this? Answer is yes. If I have the money at all, I am going to jump in and try to buy this because I think this is a very intriguing product. Again, sort of like the 4KP in the virtual pinball world, there's nothing else like it on the market, assuming it comes out this December. There really isn't. When we talk about not knowing the code, we don't know what kind of wizard modes are going to be. Again, the deeper the game is in its code, the longer the game will stay interesting to you, right? So if there are multiple multi-ball modes, if there are various challenges that get harder, that's something that will keep your interest in the game even after you've mastered all the shots going up the ramps and hitting spinners and everything like that. So that is hopefully something that we will know more about in April. But even if the code is very simple, it's got to be more than was in those Weasel pinball games, right? So I'm very excited to see that a company is putting forth the time, money, and effort to make an affordable, dang near the size of a real pinball game, pinball for us home arcaders. So anyway, if you are interested in this, go check out their Kickstarter page. I'll have a link down below. Again, it's $7.99 if you want to jump in the first 100 and $8.49 after that, with different pricing tiers depending on if you want to upgrade that package. Very intrigued, but let me know down below if you are going to put your money down on this, or wait to see the code, wait to see the final version, or wait till like guys like me actually review it and put their filthy little mitts on it. All right, let me down below. I really want to know what you guys think. Until then, love each other, and I'll see you in the Game Shack. Mwah!
Be sure to visit evilgeniusentertainment.com for exclusive content, swag, casting call news, and much, much more.